Good evening. It's a fantastic privilege for me to have the company of these three distinguished yoga practitioners. I'm myself a very primitive, kind of a raw practitioner. I know nothing, which is a good thing, which allows me to ask all kinds of very basic questions. And it's okay. I don't make a fool of myself. I do that routinely, right? So my request to my distinguished panelists is that I will try to make sure we have about 2 questions per person. And maybe the last 5 to 10 minutes I'll spare for a few. And I'd like to have some heat and disagreements and that kind of thing. If we just violently agree with each other, there's no fun, right? So what I'd like to ask, I would like to bring this up with a certain sequence I have in mind. Ms. Ashwini over here has a yoga school, I understand?
Yeah, I work for a yoga institute.
For a yoga institute, right? So, but even before that, on the assumptions that some of us may be looking for some basic definitions. Let's come to that, and then we'll progress in our definition and sophistication as we go along. I would like to ask this simple question, and I know already that there are many answers for this. What is yoga? Let's start with that. Last with that, okay? Because I know there are a number of different things. We all look for it in a different way. Can we just go around a simple understanding of what it is? Shall we agree or disagree on our definition, please?
Okay, everyone, because of the technological advances, we've all read so much about what is yoga and all the technical meaning and
Yes.
definition of yoga. But in layman's terms, that's what I'm going to talk about, because although he called me, like I teach yoga, I think I'm still a student of yoga. I'll always be a student of yoga. So I feel that in day-to-day life, what for me yoga is I carry, if whatever I learned on the mat, I can carry it back into my day-to-day life. Okay, and that has helped me. Simple, I won't take, because I know there are a lot of esteemed people who will give their opinions, but simple asanas, forward bends, back bends, twists, Forward bends teaches you to surrender. Back bends teaches you to open up your heart. Twist, there are going to be things in life which may not go your way. And you learn to, deal with those twisted situations in life. So these are, I know it sounds very heavy, especially when it comes to younger people, but when they actually experience it, when you show them what they are going through and how to apply it, that's when I feel that you have taken yoga to their homes, not just as an exercise. That's what yoga is.
All right.
And it helps you, yoga in physically, you are many times in the past. Mentally, you're in the future.
Okay.
With yoga, you're there in the
right.
present.
Wonderful. Asheet sir, what is your opinion? Is there actually one catch-all definition of yoga?
Yes, according to me, yoga is to have total and absolute control over the content of your mind. The way your thoughts function, from where do they arise, how they shade your emotional landscape, how those emotions prompt you to act and then to face the consequences. So Patanjali defined yoga as yoga chitta vritti nirodha, which in layman's words means to have total control over the content of your mind every moment.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you both. Uday sir.
I would say just know yourself. Enough definitions have come. Know yourself. That's it.
All right. All right. So I'm still struggling. I don't yet know myself, but I take some time. So let's go back to this, that people are fascinated by yoga, and you made a very subtle, interesting comment about age. I think somewhere along the way people don't realize, and yoga for somebody in a college or something, it seems to be this slow system. And here we're only talking about one particular branch of yoga. Obviously, it's a much more sophisticated thing. So I want to talk about the fact that a student comes to you with what kind of desires? What is that student looking for? You have obviously seen many students, but let me read out to you the amazing types of yoga which are in vogue today. And it makes me wonder that is this a fabulous business proposition also that we missed out on. We have power yoga, we have rocket yoga, we have naked yoga. It's getting more and more interesting. Bikram yoga, laughter yoga, goat yoga, body and brain yoga. So what is going on here? And
there is also a beer yoga.
Beer yoga. Now thanks a lot. I really appreciate that insight. No, so what is going on? I mean, one intellectual side of us can say that, they have destroyed the essence of this, etc. The other side is, well, you have to keep up with the times and innovate and modify whatever it is. So I would like you to respond about what are students looking forward to when they come to these schools, and what's going on there.
Okay, now age is a factor. Okay, unfortunately, in my experience, many times the younger people, it is changing, but they say yoga, I will come to later when I'm older, or it's too slow. It happens even in my family. If I say yoga, it's like, oh no, mom, it's too slow. Okay, so that's where I, in my experience, felt that for this school of people, for the younger crowd I'm talking about, what was vinyasa? I mean, it has been renamed from the West and come back. It's vinyasa, where it's again yoga postures which are just woven into a flow and coordinated, synchronized with your breath. Okay, so basically what yoga was set out to be, union of body, mind and breath. Here, when it's a continuous action, because of the lack of, or the patience level, or the amount that people want to sit quiet for, which is actually the final aim, that you should be able to be yourself, know yourself. But to get the younger crowd interested, they feel, okay, they are doing something, they are doing continuously, they are sweating, their heart rates are not high, their metabolism stays high. Okay, so I'm not propagating this form of yoga, but it is getting increasingly popular among the younger generation. And because they find, then they get interested. And once you have them interested, that's when then they want to learn more. And then they want to, can we also do something? Can you just take a class on breathing, a class on meditation, or just, this is where then they start realizing that it is not just about, what they came in looking for. Whereas the older people, many times they come to us with some ailments, where the doctor has prescribed that, oh, you should do yoga, or because of whatever, you should learn some pranayama. That's where the older people come in. It would be perfect if people, which has happened fortunately because of the way yoga has gained popularity all over the world, that people are now at least trying to turn to it as, okay, let me see what it is. If I like it, I'll continue. If I don't, if I get bored. People who are fat, they feel I will not, who have a weight issue, they feel, oh, I won't be able to handle. There are men, most of the time, I'm not being discriminatory, but many times men will come saying, I'm very stiff, I'm not flexible at all. First thing they come to your class and they'll tell you, I'm not flexible at all, so what can I do? Okay, they come with these preconceived ideas. And then you have to ease them into it. You have to teach them it is about yourself, your practice. Like when I spoke to you before, and you said, I did an amazing yoga session today. And I said, with who, where? And you said, with myself. And you felt good. And that is what it is about. It's like how you feel after you have finished it. Okay, and then you start slowly realizing the benefits of it.
Wonderful. I'll come back to that because I also want to talk about the other side, which is about teaching yoga. But now I'd like to ask Mr. Asheet. One is we are obviously touching at this point. The discussion has only been the physical, the manifestation, the sweating or whatever flexibility. But obviously we just start talking the surface of yoga, right? Would you like to talk a little bit about the other aspects of yoga which we need to know about? You talked about Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So just for a novice in audience or for me as well, just talk a little bit more about it.
So yoga is holistic. It is called holistic because your mind and body are the two ends of the same continuum. Something happens in your body, it is felt in your mind, and something happens in your mind, it is felt in the body. So you really cannot segregate the two. Now, here the onus lies on the facilitators or yoga teachers, as they are called. But that is an incorrect term, because you cannot teach yoga. You can only be a facilitator. You can only share your experience. Yoga will teach you yoga. There is a maxim, yogena yogo jnatavyo. So if you practice yoga, it will teach you.
So there is that dimension. But I mean, apart from the, as I said, the Hatha Yoga side of it, which is one of the 8 sides, we're talking about many other limbs of yoga. Are students coming for that as well? I mean, I suppose I should extend it that. Extend my
What
question.
Ashwini was saying is so correct. In India, I have seen that unless people get a medical kick, they won't come to yoga class. Unlike in Western countries, I'm sorry to say, but that is the truth. And that's why I said that onus lies on the teachers or the facilitators to inform the younger generation how it is going to benefit you. A few months ago, I was presenting a program on depression and yoga. And I was, when I was gathering the statistics, I was shocked to learn that more than 43% of corporate India is in depression. And they don't even know it. So, as I was saying, yoga is holistic. There are 8 limbs to yoga. And unfortunately, people are aware only of 2 limbs, which is asana and pranayama. But the other limbs, yama, niyama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, they make that whole package. See, they have been called limbs. Now you have got 4 limbs, so you can't put 2 limbs at home and say that, okay, today I'll walk only on 2 limbs, with 2 limbs. You can't do that. You are complete when you are with all the limbs. So is with yoga. So you can call it yoga only if it comes with all the limbs. So yama is your relationship with the world. There are 5 yamas. Now I will not go into the details, but to sum up that how beautifully woven this Shastra, the Ashtanga Yoga is to develop your own persona, to become human, to become humane. There is only one commandment in the Vedas, that is Manur Bhava, become human. Just because you are born as a human being doesn't mean that you have acquired the qualities necessary for being a human. So yama is your relationship with the outer world. Niyama is your relationship with yourself. And then come asana, which is hatha. Hatha, the etymology of the word hatha, means the sympathetic nervous system or the Surya Nadi in you. Tha means the Chandra Nadi or the parasympathetic nervous system in you. So to have balance in these 2 autonomous nervous systems, to modulate them, that is the purpose of asana, so that you get inner homeostasis and equilibrium. Then comes pranayama. Now the purpose of pranayama is not to lose belly fat or cure your asthma. There are side benefits. The purpose of pranayama is to gain control over your desires, which make your mind behave like a monkey. And then comes dharana, dhyana, samadhi, the antaranga sadhana as it is called, to orient yourself and to understand who you really are, what is the purpose of your life. So the fruits of this spectrum are enormous. And what you gain out of it is contentment. Okay, I will just take, can I take one more minute?
Please, by all means, by all means.
Everybody should know that there is a promise in yoga. There is a sutra in yoga which is very powerful. It is Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. There is a sutra by Patanjali. It means Dukkha is of course suffering. Heyam is, it has to be destroyed because it can be destroyed. And Anagatam is that which has not yet arrived. Because suffering which you have undergone in the past. You cannot do anything about it. You can just recall it and become more miserable. The suffering which is already manifested upon you today has to be courageously faced and done with. But the suffering which has not yet arrived, which is lurking there around the corner, ready to pounce upon you on an opportune moment, can be, and therefore has to be, destroyed. And that is the promise of you.
Thank you very much. Beautifully explained. Thank you, sir. Uday, I have a additional question to you, taking off from where he is. The purpose of this particular wonderful session is about spirituality and so on. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about the spiritual dimension of this whole learning about the 8 limbs of yoga. Where are we headed with that? Yeah, can you spend some time on that?
Well, friends, am I audible right at the back? Yes. Yes, sure. Because I don't believe in monologue, right? Because unless I have a dialogue, I can't deal with all of you. The purpose, at the beginning I said, know yourself. I cut myself short. I wanted to use that time and this time put together. Because unless I have enough time, I can't reach out to you. Are you all listening? Anybody fast asleep? If somebody is, well, he cannot answer.
Not yet.
So, not yet. Very good. So please pinch a person besides you with the permission of Modi ji, if the person is fast asleep. We're going to float a bank. Okay, are you listening? Yes. Yeah. And we're going to float a bank of which you are going to be the exclusive custodian. Sounds interesting? Yes. Yes? How many are ready? Ready to float a bank, and you are going to be the exclusive custodian. Only one hand has gone up. 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be so many banks. Now, what is this bank business about? What is yoga to do with a bank? We're going to open a bank called Bank of Love and Satisfaction. Yeah? Sounds okay? Bank of Love and Bank of Satisfaction. You would say, how do I do it? Well, if you look at your own system minutely, whenever your need is managed, you are satisfied. Yes or no? Yes. भूख लगी ही नहीं है और जैन साहब ने खाने पे बुला लिया और 7 course डिनर है क्या मजा है उसमें? जब भूख लगी है और एक रूखी सूखी रोटी भी मिलती है तो आनंद कुछ और है. हाँ है ना? हाँ, good. Because unless I get yes and no, my dear, you know our morning class. I'm not going to just leave you. क्योंकि ध्यान में रखिए, जो भी 15-20 मिनट मुझे जिंदगी के अभी मिले हैं, आप मेरे साथ आपके 20 मिनट खर्च कर रहे हो, हाँ? तो मुझे ऊपर जाके जवाब देना ना, क्योंकि इसके 20 मिनट, इन सब लोगों के 20 मिनट मल्टीप्लाई पे जो भी नंबर है, इन लोगों का वक्त जाया करने का आपको अधिकार किसने दिया? अरे यार, ऊपर जाके मुझे नर्क में नहीं जाना है. हाँ, इसीलिए मैं बार बार पूछ रहा हूँ, समझ में आ रहे हो, मेरे साथ हो या ना हो? ओके. So Bank of Love, Bank of Satisfaction is going to emerge out of nothing but a simple process called breathing. हर सांस के साथ समाधान जुड़ा है. Okay, make this a oil paint concept. Every inhalation satisfies you. Every exhalation satisfies you. But the problem is you are not aware of it. ये आप महसूस नहीं करते हैं. सिस्टम कर रही है, नर्वस सिस्टम काम कर रही है. आपको समाधान का कुछ मालूम ही नहीं होगा. Pranayam, in my understanding, is just getting that feel of satisfaction from within, from every single breath, inhalation or exhalation. हठप्रदीपिका में जो टर्म्स यूज की हैं वो है पूरक, कुंभक, रेचक, कुंभक. लोग पूरक का मतलब सांस लेना कहते हैं, रेचक का मतलब सांस छोड़ना कहते हैं. If you ask me, that's not the way my teacher taught us. Rechak is rechak when you get a feeling that something has got emptied out of you. जो रेचक आपके लिए है, दूसरे के लिए शायद पूरक हो सकता है. Let's give the example of milk. दूध किसी को हजम होगा, किसी को शायद हजम ना होगा. तो पूरक किसके लिए हुआ? जो हजम कर पा रहा है. जो त्रिफला लेने के बाद भी उसे बाउल मूवमेंट नहीं हो रही है, त्रिफला चूर्ण इज नॉट रेचक, इफेक्ट इज रेचक. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज रेचक. तो मैंने सांस लिया, मुझे समाधान मिला. फिर जब मुझे फीलिंग आया कि मैं छोड़ना चाहता हूं, छोड़ा, उसका भी समाधान मिला. तो हम अब कौन हो गए? बैंक ऑफ समाधान, सेटिस्फैक्शन के कस्टोडियन हो गए. यहां वहां भागने की जरूरत क्या है? सुबह क्लास को आने की जरूरत नहीं है जैन साहब. ये घर में अपना अभ्यास करो. ओपन अप अ बैंक एंड देयर इज नो चांस ऑफ एनीबॉडी चीटिंग यू. चेक बाउंस भी नहीं होगा. ओके, विद दिस, at this point I will stop because we are heading, because क्यों प्राणायाम को इतना महत्व है? She talked of few areas. ध्यान में रखिए, सांस नाम की चीज इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग है. यानी वो सांस बहू की स्टोरी नहीं है. Actual breath. Breath is such an interesting phenomena. It takes you beyond senses. इंद्रियातीत जाने के लिए तो प्राणायाम है ना. प्रत्याहार उसके बाद है ना. आहार का मतलब हुआ इंद्रियों का आहार, सांस का महसूस करना. इसके लिए एक भी इंद्रिय की जरूरत नहीं है. इट्स अ न्यूरोमस्कुलर एक्टिविटी. ओके, एट दिस पॉइंट आई स्टॉप.
Wonderful insights. Wonderful. Now I'll come back to you. I won't let you go. Something else to ask you a little bit. But I'd like to shift gears a little bit to make it interesting. As you said, Ashwini ji, I talked about the students. Now let's talk about the phenomenon of teachers as well. Again, I'm switching back and forth, but it's all in good intention. I apparently can become a yoga teacher in 3 months flat. What is happening here? Right? I mean, should I be concerned, or should I say this is life? I should take a philosophical approach. You know, what should we be worried about this phenomenon? How is it going to affect the teaching of yoga and the absorption of yoga now, the future? Just give me some insight if you have any.
Yeah, it is something which is concerning, definitely. I mean, it's like no matter how many years you are practicing yoga, you keep learning from your students also. You learn every session, even if you decide to focus on just one basic, simple Tadasana. Every time you will learn something new, looking at each different body that is in front of you. You are learning. Even if you are actually trying to teach people, you are learning. Okay? So, I cannot understand that within 2 and 3 months of doing certain 100 hours and, because you're dealing with someone's body, you're dealing with someone's health, okay? So, it is something which you are daring to do, where you're suddenly now, equipped and teaching. So, I'm not in that, school where I will agree with something like this, okay? Then you will say, okay, how many hours is enough? That way, like I said, it's a continuous, you are a practitioner all your life, is what I think. That's what I am, okay? So, these, so many hours, this has come to us from the West also. Earlier it was like a Gurukul system, where you are continuously learning. You are with your yoga guru, and although you are teaching under his guidance, you are continuously also learning something which you translate into your teaching, and you learn from your students, which again, the same class, if I take a class today, I'm going more into the practical aspect.
Please, that's what I want. Yeah.
So if I take a class today on a Monday, and that same class I have repeated on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I myself know that my Friday's class was much better than my Monday class. Because I have picked up things along the way, okay, where I felt that, okay, this person had this issue, so now I know I can do this better with this person in my other class. And I get that satisfaction that I have done something on Friday which I felt, oh, I wish I had. So although I have practiced it on a Sunday, I have learned it, I have worked on myself. When it comes to someone else, you end up learning something much more which you may not have learned in spite of years of practice, is what I think. Okay. And I just would like to touch on Mr. Ambekar, what he said, that, of course it's true, that niyamas, the 8 limbs, then asana, then pranayam. But because I'm very much interested in getting the younger generation interested into yoga, okay? And it's a fast-paced generation today. So unless you get them interested into the asana practice, and with today's life, with the technology and the problems or that they are facing, physical problems, your body is in pain, you're sleep deprived, okay? How will your mind be able to focus on these other things? So once they get interested, then they get interested into what Mr. Pendse touched upon, breath, which is given to us from the time we are born. We are breathing, whether we are conscious of it or not. Then when you get their attention to this breathing, then they realize, oh yeah, when I breathe well, it makes me feel calmer, it makes me feel good. That's when they feel, okay, then this is something I'm getting out of this. After a whole day, when in the evening, suppose there is 7 o'clock session, 7:30 session, and the younger kids who come for that session, they come, but they drive through traffic, they come there. Why? Because at the end of that session, when they go home, they feel all the stresses that they dealt with at work, somewhere their body felt good. They felt good. They used their breaths. They had left everything outside, okay, and they were just with themselves. So getting to know yourself process starts, is what I think.
Wonderful, thank you. So, Mr. Asheet, I have a question regarding one of the points that you made, which is important in the corporate sector, from which unfortunately I hail from. Yeah, we see. I think you said something of 40%. Some number you gave us. Huh? Are depressed is one side of it, but I would say probably 99% are in extremely poor health on the whole, right? And in fact, people have bad tempers, they have hypertension, they have diabetes, there's obesity, there's an epidemic which is happening, which is unraveling in front of our eyes. I think you would agree. Now that probably gives a different dimension to the kinds of yoga, shall we say, application or the things that we're looking for. As you said, the younger crowd likes the asanas, fun stuff, etc., etc. But then yoga counseling for some other kinds of things from a practical perspective, because we can't be divorced from the day-to-day challenges that we have. We have to live, we have to make a living. So where does yoga counseling come in to deal with these rather grim, signals which are coming from the world outside?
As I said, the onus totally lies on the facilitators. Ashwini very correctly said that the process of learning is an ongoing process. So the facilitator should equip himself or herself to be more and more helpful. Along with depression is stress, of course.
Yes, indeed.
So, because of the social and economic responsibilities one has to undertake these days, there is a constant activation of multiple body systems. Your life is on simmer. To maintain the homeostasis, you have to go in allostasis. Now, allostasis means that you are maintaining the homeostasis, but at a cost. So, all your systems are in overdrive. Your life is on simmer, and then it results in what they call metabolic syndrome, the umbrella, which is called metabolic syndrome, in which come high triglycerides, insulin resistance, obesity, and cholesterol. These things run hand in hand and play havoc on you. Ashwini said very correctly that to attract the younger generation, they first have to be made to feel good about their bodies, and they should have a good experience of the class. But yes, indeed, when people come to yoga class, वो जो कुत्ते की दुम होती है ना, वो जैसे नली में डालते हैं, तो क्लास में आते हैं तो वो सीधी हो जाती है, और जब क्लास से निकलते हैं तो वो नली पीछे छूट जाती है, बाहर निकलते वापस वो टेढ़ी हो जाती है. So somewhere See, again I am coming again and again to this point because I very strongly feel that the onus lies on the facilitator. और ये जो अभी जो सब्जेक्ट निकला कि टीचर्स 3 months training certification and you become a yoga teacher with 200 hours yoga teacher, 300 hours yoga teacher, ऐसे सब शुरू हो गया आजकल. So that's okay on at its own level, but then see yoga. I mean, why? See, the point is that when the window is so wide, why do you keep your window so narrow? When the window of yoga can incorporate so many things, it can actually incorporate each and every aspect of your life. Then why do you want to keep it so small? It's just asana and pranayama. And yoga darshan, the shastra, it includes psychology, it includes philosophy, it includes psychotherapy, it includes neuroscience, it includes quantum physics. So why not reap the benefits? I'll give you a small example based on the Yoga Sutras. Okay, now in the first question of itself I said that your body and your mind are the two ends of the same continuum. तो क्लास में आप आके बॉडी को अच्छा लगा, लेकिन उसका माइंड पे कुछ परिणाम हुआ क्या? आप सालों, जब भी उदय सर ने सांस बहु की बात की, तो आप 10 साल से योगा कर रहे हो, तो सांस की तरफ देखने की दृष्टि बदली या वो सांस बहु की नोक-झोंक वैसे ही शुरू है? Is there any change? Is there any transformation at the thought level, at the perception level? या फिर जिंदगी भर बस मैं योग कर रहा हूँ, मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कब होगा? There is a very beautiful sutra. I think I must share this with you so that you will understand the depth of the science of yoga. The sutra is Vitarka Badhane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. I will explain it to you. Neuroscience today is discovering things which Patanjali has put down 2000 years ago. All of us have gone through bad experiences in life, and we recall them and we become miserable. A bad event, a painful event in our life. The problem is that we not only recall the event, but recall it with the associated emotions. Now our brain has got very limited space, so it does not store the entire event or incident. It just stores the highlights, and when it wants to recall, it simulates the event from the highlights. जैसे वो क्रिकेट की मैच होती है ना, रात को हम हाइलाइट्स देखते हैं और पूरी मैच सिमुलेट हो जाती है, तो वैसे हमारे मेमोरी का रहता है. So if you recall an event, a bad event with negative emotions associated with it, it will come with the emotions. And now this is very interesting. You've seen those talk bubbles of cartoons, so that's simulation. Now that bubble will collapse after the memory leaves you, but it will collapse with the shades of the emotions which were there at that moment, currently. Do you understand? Or in other words, अगर आपके बॉस ने आपको एक काम दिया जो आपके हाथ से बिगड़ गया, और बॉस ने आपको बहुत फायर किया, आपको बहुत बुरा लगा, अब दूसरे दिन जब आप ये इवेंट को रिकॉल करते हो with the negative emotions, at that moment of recall, you curse yourself more and you kick yourself more. So adding the content of negativity to that talk bubble. So when it collapses with more negativity. The next time you recall it, you feel even more bad. ये अनुभव हम सबने लिया हुआ है. तो पतंजलि कहते हैं कि जब ऐसा होगा, जब वो मेमोरी रिकॉल होगी बुरे हादसे की, बुरे इमोशंस के साथ, तो उस वक्त प्रतिपक्ष भावनम मतलब आपके जिंदगी में जो कुछ भी अच्छी घटना घटी है जिसके साथ आपके बहुत पॉजिटिव इमोशंस एसोसिएटेड हैं, उसको रिकॉल करो। भले ही ये दो चीजें कनेक्टेड ना हो, ब्रेन को वो नहीं समझता कि ये दो चीजें कनेक्टेड नहीं है, लेकिन उस वक्त अगर आपने कोई ऐसा वाकया याद किया जहाँ पे आपको बहुत सुकून मिला हो, बहुत अच्छा लगा हो, पॉजिटिव इमोशंस पैदा हुए हो, तो वो रिकॉल करो, बिकॉज व्हेन दिस टॉक बबल विल गो बैक इनटू उसके हाइलाइट्स में, तो इट विल गो विद दोज शेड्स, सो द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द नेगेटिविटी विल बी रिड्यूस्ड. नेक्स्ट टाइम you recall it, you will not feel that bad. This is deep psychotherapy which comes out of Patanjali Yoga Darshan. So I'm just saying that okay, physical yoga is of course good, there are thousands and millions of people teaching it, but this counseling, psychological, psychotherapeutical aspect of yoga, which is so rich, which is being discovered by the neuroscience as on today, why not make use of it?
So are you finding people in the more skeptical Western educated this population showing receptivity to these kinds of wonderful?
It's not the question of whether Western or Eastern. Just now what I shared is acceptable to any human being. It addresses, because it is yoga is universal. It doesn't carry any nationality, any gender, any class, any creed, any religion whatsoever.
I refer to let's say the IT crowd, who are built in a certain way. We are tuned in a certain way. We behave and respond certain ways. So for us, somehow, perhaps we have lost that touch. Things have become rusted as far as our appreciation of this kind of glorious heritage and bodies of knowledge are concerned. That's what I meant.
You see, as far as I am concerned, now I teach at corporates. I conduct regular batches at corporates. My facilitating, I would say, always has presentations on the sutras. So each class is deeply interwoven with the sutras. So there is a physical aspect and there is a psychological aspect. And every month, every quarter, I make presentations, conduct workshops, which are based on this deep psychology which is inherent in yoga.
Wonderful. Really wonderful to hear all this. Thank you, sir. Udayji, I have a question for you. It may be a slight repetition, but I'd like to go with it anyway. We talked about the 8 branches. You explained in great depth. So again, from a humble beginner perspective, you have many years of experience in teaching, right? And you say yoga is a way of life. I agree. Those are very strong, pithy statements, as they say. But really, as somebody embarking on the study of yoga, the long years ahead that we have, is there a sequence of learning that we should be thinking about? Can things be done in parallel? On top of that, you have additional complications of different other kinds like bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga. The whole body of knowledge is frankly confusing. Maybe not to you, but I would say to the average person, it is intimidating. It seems slightly out of reach, if you get my point. So is there any advice you would give to someone of how to take this study and practice forward in a systematic?
Well, so far as I am concerned, friends, I don't think I'm capacitated to answer the question whether one should take to bhakti yoga or jnana yoga or this or that. So far as I am concerned, I deal predominantly teaching on basically Patanjali Sutras approach, which in a way I would say includes every single dimension of different yogas. But then that will be trying to do maybe injustice to exclusively bhakti yoga and things like that. But if you really look at the way I look at various dimensions, what does yoga do to you? Or the very issue that we have raised, why yoga at all?
Why yoga at all? Yeah.
किस लिए करना है भाई? तो मेरे ख्याल से जिंदगी में सबसे अहम चीज़, इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ क्या है? जवान लोग जैसे लोग कह रहे हैं भाई स्कूल के बच्चे हैं या कॉलेज जाने वाले हैं, आजकल प्यार मोहब्बत का चक्कर तो है या नहीं है मार्केट में? अरे है या नहीं है? नहीं, क्योंकि जब तक आप जवाब नहीं दोगे गाड़ी आगे नहीं बढ़ेगी, क्योंकि सोने नहीं दूंगा मैं आपको। अच्छा, ये प्यार प्यार नाम की चीज होती क्या है? मुझे तो समझ नहीं आता। प्यार होता है मगर मेरे ख्याल से यदि देखा जाए तो लव, कंपैशन, मैत्री, करुणा, मुदिता, उपेक्षा, ये जो सब गुण हैं, ये योग प्रैक्टिस से यदि नहीं आए, यार्डस्टिक टू मेजर,
वहाँ से नहीं आए,
यदि ये नहीं आया आपके भीतर, हाँ, कंपैशन यदि आप में डेवलप नहीं हुआ तो आप योग कर रहे हो कि नहीं, मुझे डाउट है। यदि मैत्री भाव आपके भीतर ना जागे तो आप योग कर रहे हो कि नहीं, डाउट है। तो मैं सोचता हूँ कि आपको थोड़ा सा सोचने के लिए मजबूर करूँ। जैसे बैंक तो खोल दी, बैंक का वो कौन सा, मेरे ख्याल से शोले पिक्चर था में, ठाकुर तुमने बहुत बड़ी गलती कर दी, तिजोरी दिखा दी। तो वैसे मैंने बैंक ऑफ सेटिस्फैक्शन खोल तो दिया, आपको कस्टोडियन बना दिया, आपकी सांस है, आपने खुद बैंक बनानी है, समाधान लेना है। एक बैंक तो आपने लूट ले ली। अभी ये दूसरा चक्कर है लव कंपैशन का, वो भी आपको आसानी से दे देता हूँ, ठीक है? एग्री? तो जिंदगी में क्या चीजें आपको याद रहती हैं यदि ऐसे पूछो, ऐसे जैसे पैनल डिस्कशन है, शायद आप लोग हमारा नाम वाम भी नहीं याद रखोगे, मगर यदि मैथोलॉजी में की स्टोरी आपको कुछ बताई, चंदा मामा कितने लोग पढ़ चुके हैं जिंदगी में? वेरी गुड। तो चंदा मामा की हिसाब नीति की स्टोरी आज भी प्रिसाइजली वो चित्र वित्र के साथ याद है या नहीं? दैट्स इट। तो थोड़ा सा एक स्टोरी फॉर्म में आपको दो चार चीजें, ये कंपैशन चक्कर क्या है, प्यार मोहब्बत क्या होता है, इस स्तर पे जाएंगे, ठीक है? क्योंकि ये प्योर योग वगैरह मालूम नहीं है, जरा बहुत ही सीरियस लोग हो गए, तो मेरे लिए जरा कठिन है, क्योंकि मैं दिल्ली का पैदाइशी ठग हूँ, और पैदाइशी ठग जो होता है ना, वो क्या करता है, ये साला ये कुछ पानी पूरी वगैरह तो खिलाएंगे नहीं, तो मुझे ही कल्टी मार के कुछ करना पड़ेगा। तो देखिए भाई, मैंने दो चार स्टोरी जरा सोची कि भाई आप लोगों तक पहुंचना है, आपको याद तो रखना पड़ेगा मुझे, तो क्या किया जाए? बिल्कुल बचपन में मैंने एक स्टोरी सुनी थी। एक प्रिंस ने तीर से किसी पक्षी को मारा, मारा मतलब मर नहीं गया, उसको तीर लगा, गिर गया, और एक झोपड़ी में के लड़के ने उसको बचा दिया। वो राजा के पास गए कि भाई, वो कहता है, प्रिंस कहता है, ये मैंने बर्ड को मारा, ये मेरा है। तो कितने लोगों को इसका जवाब मालूम है? मारने वाले से बचाने वाले की वैल्यू ज्यादा है। यस नो? दैट्स इट। फिर शेर की स्टोरी याद होगी, किसी ने कांटा निकाला और उसको पिंजरे में रखा था, इसको खा डाल, राजा ने शिक्षा दी, मगर वो बेसिकली टाइगर भी जिसने उसका दुख निवारण किया था, उसे भूला नहीं। वो जो उसने मदद की थी, दुख दर्द दूर किया था, उसको जिंदगी भर वो प्राणी होने के बावजूद भूला नहीं। वेरी गुड। हाँ, मेरे साथ आवा है, धीरे 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 से मैं कारपेट खींच लूंगा। हाँ, मैं हाँ मिलाने लग गया, तो दिल्ली का ठग को बता दिया मैंने पहले। तीसरी स्टोरी है, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, वाइटल है, आज के जमाने में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और वो ये है कि भाई, सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि ये हो गया, वो हो गया, वॉर होना जरूरी है। माइकल जैक्सन का जो शो हुआ था भारत में, उस समय मेरी आर्थिक स्थिति इतनी कुछ, यानी आज बहुत अच्छी है ऐसे नहीं, मगर उस तुलना में अच्छी है, क्योंकि बीवी आ गई ना। बीवी आ गई मतलब लक्ष्मी आ गई, लक्ष्मी आ गई मतलब कंट्रोल आ गया। सिंपल, हाँ या ना? तो बेसिकली माइकल जैक्सन के उस नेपथ्य में बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी है कि वो एक टैंक लेके जा रहा है और उसको ऑर्डर्स हैं कि ये आगे जो गांव है इसको आपने उड़ाना है, और एक छोटी बच्ची सिंड्रेला जैसी फूल लेके उस टैंक के सामने से गुजरती है और ये टैंक में से अचानक उसका ध्यान जाता है, ये छोटी सी नन्ही सी बच्ची फूल लेके जा रही है, शी वुड हैव बीन क्रश्ड बिलो दिस टैंक। तो वो उतरता है और वो धीरे से इधर आते, गुड मॉर्निंग अंकल, और वो पागल हो जाता है, ही जस्ट फॉरगेट्स व्हाट फॉर ही इज देयर। वो वहां पे उस विलेज को खत्म करने के लिए आया था वगैरह सब भूल जाता है, उसके घुटने टेकता है, यू हैव सॉल्व माई प्रॉब्लम, वहीं से वो रेसिग्नेशन दे देता है। सेम थिंग हैपन विद हैम रेडियो फेलो, वियतनाम अटैक कर रहा है ऊपर से, हैम रेडियो वाला नीचे है, वो कह रहा है इस दोस्त को मैं नहीं मार सकता हूँ। तो ध्यान में रखिए, फ्रेंडशिप यदि हम इस बड़े पैमाने तक फैला दें आजू बाजू, इतने हम एक दूसरे के साथ प्यार मोहब्बत के साथ जीने लग गए, तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत किसी को मारने की इच्छा रखेगी ही नहीं। ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आज ना कल पॉसिबल होके रहेगा, क्योंकि भारतीय भूमि यही चीज सिखाती है। इस स्तर पर अभी प्यार मोहब्बत के चक्कर में जाते जाते थोड़ा सा आपको सोचने पे मजबूर करने वाला हूं। एक बंदर था, बंदर नहीं, इंसान और बंदर में फर्क वैसे कुछ है नहीं। एक बंदरिया थी, तो बंदर था तो बंदरी होना जरूरी है, ठीक है, प्यार मोहब्बत की स्टोरी है। तो वो बंदरी ने कहा, भाई सचमुच मेरे से प्यार करते हो? कहने लगा हाँ। तो कुछ भी करोगे मेरे लिए? हाँ। तुम्हारे माँ का दिल मेरे लिए ले आओ। माँ के पास गया कि ऐसा ऐसा है। माँ बोली इतनी चीज है, फट ले लो दिल। और फिर वो दिल लेके अपनी इस महबूबा बंदरी के पास जाता है और जस्ट जाते समय लड़खड़ाता है, गिर जाता है, और वो ओ माँ कहता है, अरे बेटा ज्यादा लगी तो नहीं? उस दिल से आवाज क्या आई, बेटा कुछ लगा तो नहीं? दिस इज द लव माय डियर, नॉट ये आंख झोंक वाला प्यार। असली प्यार है माँ ने बच्चे के साथ, किसी के साथ किया हुआ प्यार, और वो प्यार जिसके पास है दुनिया की कोई ताकत उसको हिला नहीं सकती।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, I think I'll just make sure that my co-panelists, in case you'd like to say any closing remarks, you're most welcome to, and then we'll see if we can ask some questions. Ashwini ji.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, after hearing both of them, that is of course the true essence, and to get to what the level that Mr. Ambekar is saying. I mean, it's very fortunate if you can apply, what the Yoga Sutras have told us, and, learn to deal with your life situations using that, okay? But it is so ironic, and I mean, this is something which Iyengar Guruji has said, that, the irony of asana practice is that we use physical methodology, okay, to help us to connect to that part of ourselves that isn't physical, okay, and to teach us that ultimately we are not the form that we animate, but we are the force of animation. That is what we are. But for that we have to use this, practice of asanas and pranayam to help us get further. And India is a rich, we've had this rich tradition, and I'm glad that people all over, India now, with the younger generation and everyone alike is getting interested into this, not just to keep it at the physical level, but also take it to a higher level.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sir, any closing remarks from your side?
Janardhan Swami was a great saint from central India. So he said, Samadhanaya Saukhyaya Nirogatvaya Jivani Yoga Meva Vased Pradnyaha Yatha Shakti Nirantaram. मतलब जीवन में समाधान प्राप्त करने के लिए, सुख प्राप्त करने के लिए, समाधानाय सौख्याय निरोगत्वाय जीवने, और निरोगत्व योग मेवाभ्यसे प्राज्ञ, जो यथाशक्ति, क्योंकि योग में कंपटीशन नहीं है, योग अंदर में होता है, ये अंदर की बात है. सो एग्जिबिशनिस्ट योग इज नॉनसेंस. It is just to make yoga popular. To that extent, it is valuable. Nothing more. Yoga happens inside. तो यथा शक्ति, आपकी जितनी शक्ति है, उतना दीर्घ काल नैरंतर्य. दीर्घ काल मतलब आमरण, नैरंतर्य मतलब हमेशा, रोज करते रहें, वही प्राज्ञ है, मतलब वही बुद्धिमान है.
Wonderful, thank you. Any last remarks?
No.
None. All right, so we have about a few minutes more. I'd like to take about maximum of 3 questions from the audience, if you have any. Yes, sir. Mike, we have time for 3 questions? Yeah. One mic to this gentleman, please. So please, we're requesting everyone to keep the questions brief, and the answers will also be brief. Yes, sir.
As you're doing rationing, all the questions are asked,
Yes.
2 questions in one. Okay. My first question is, do you really have any difference between yoga and yoga? Or is it just that A is different and it's a pronunciation difference? And second question is...
One question. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
So, yes, sir. You would like to answer the question? Who would like to answer the question?
Everybody knows it is yoga. It is not Ganapati, it is Ganapati.
There is no such thing as yoga. It is just because of their English language, they pronounce it as yoga. It's only yoga.
Okay, so all this time we've been in error, in a sense. So we should now say yoga. Very good. Great takeaway. Wonderful. Yeah. You want to ask one more question?
Yeah, one more.
I can't stop you. Yeah. Okay.
We are speaking about all traditional forms of yoga, but right from Iyengar Guruji, a lot of modifications are being made, like ropes, using ropes and belts and such things. How, as yoga teachers, how much do you accept such kind of modifications, or do you think it has to be traditional, or such modifications are acceptable from the viewpoint of physical or spiritual development?
Innovations, effectively.
In fact, props are something which are an excellent innovation, because there are every person is different. So not every person can do a particular asana to the maximum capacity. So your flexibility, my flexibility, his flexibility is different. So using of props, you can reach your potential. It's always about yourself. So when you use a certain prop, it helps you attain your potential. Props help you. Props help you attain that. You should not depend on them, but you should use them to further your potential, further your practice, further your sadhana. That's what I believe.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Out there.
One is the observation that these days, which I am really appalled to listen and read, that yoga factories are manufacturing yoga teachers just in a week's time.
Weeks?
I've been just in a week time, and you see, I've been practicing yoga as a student for last 20 years, and I can definitely say that it is not possible that one can learn yoga or teach yoga. One may, but cannot teach yoga in a week's time, becoming a teacher. Another thing that I want to say is that now, listening, I feel that the young generation is like to do yoga like fast food. Can you have any solution to that, that it should not be done like fast food? It should be done in a proper, logical manner.
But they are doing it is good enough.
No, you may feel that it is doing good enough, but in 1 week's time, you cannot do that, and in 1 week's time, you cannot just like a fast food, you can learn yoga. It is not possible. I have been doing it for last 20 years. Whosoever feels that it can be done in a week's time is something I don't agree with.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe these very interesting questions can be taken outside, but we can talk about Mac Yoga and.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know that all of you are probably teaching yoga either to corporates or individuals, like Ashwini was talking about. I come from the other side. I'm a layman who probably listens to his wife sometimes and tries to do pranayama and things like that. I also belong probably for a long time to a corporate where such programs were arranged for our own employees. So it comes from a different point of view. I think we all take objection to yoga teachers being produced in 3 months and things like that. But none of us take objections to C programmers getting developed in 3 months and then taking up jobs. So I think the kind of approach that we are talking about in terms of the speed has changed for our life. It can be there for yoga, it can be there for programming.
Okay.
Okay? So let's not go into details about that as to which practice is correct or not.
Okay.
My question is this. What I have noticed, and yesterday also we attended some sessions on mindful breathing. What I realized is that without really knowing the physical implications on my nervous system and things like that, without knowing the deep insight that one of the panelists talked about, I realized that yoga still helps. If I do it on a regular basis, probably my breathing improves, it gives me more joy, it gives me more energy. What I'm asking all of you is, the aspects that you are talking about, very interesting aspects about yoga, do they come only after you have practiced the physical side of it for 10, 12 years? Or do you start seeing them right in the beginning? Because my problem is, my children or their batchmates today do not have that kind of a span of attention.
So this is a very important question. I think we are running short of time, but anyone would like to give a rapid, sorry? We are running out of time, but I think it's a very valid question that, with us, and it has been addressed. Would you like to take 1 minute to quickly address it? 2 minutes, okay, 1.5, all right.
Yeah, this requires more time.
Okay.
But see, yoga is totally subjective, and whatever works for you goes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we'd love to talk to you outside because in the interest of time. So I'd like to thank my panelists. Ashwini, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for audience for participating, and we'll see you all again. Thank you.